We've lost all radar and phone communication, so we have no wind available right now.
I literally got into the parking lot to park. They told me that my flight had been canceled. So
hopefully that they can rebook us and get us to Miami before 12 tomorrow, because if they can't, then we lose our cruise.
We've lost all.
Flights are slowly resuming after an equipment outage severely disrupted one of the nation's busiest airports. More than 1,800 flights were delayed and hundreds more canceled at Dallas, Fort Worth, and Dallas Love Field airports yesterday. The Federal Aviation Administration says a telephone outage that does not involve FAA equipment caused air traffic controllers to lose radar and communications. The FAA issued a ground stop for those airports.
Flights are overseas. There have been scenes of chaos at airports across Europe in the wake of a major cyber attack. Thousands of travellers were left stranded when check-in and baggage systems went down. The attack affected London's Heathrow Airport as well as others in Dublin, Brussels and Berlin. At this stage, it's not known who's behind it. Overseas,
major airports across Europe just got hit hard with a cyber attack, and passengers right now are starting to feel it. We're talking about flights from Brussels, Berlin, London, all hit with major delays and cancellations after the Collins Aerospace, the company behind the check-in and boarding system, said it suffered a cyber attack. This said cyber attack led to an outage in which anyone who uses this system was unable to check people onto planes. The company right now is insisting that this impact is limited only to checking in and bag drop-off. And airports are now having to go back to old school ways, which is paper and pen to check people in. But the bigger problem here is the fact that we don't know the source of said attack. And as you may know, over the past few years, we have seen Russians get into certain systems to disrupt many different areas. So the grand question is what's happening right now just a major glitch, or is it something that the Russians put together to disrupt travel across Europe? Let me know what you think in the comments.
Hey, shalom, shalom, call HALAL, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH. That's giving all praise to the Most High, name of His only begotten Son, in the name of the Holy Spirit. Double honors to our teachers, the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who taught us this truth and sincerity. Peace and salutations to the hopeful like scattered abroad. Shalom to 144,000. And as you've seen in this video, man, this video comes from the brother Raising the Elect 144. And this brother does great videos, man. Definitely subscribe. He titled it, Free Travel Will Soon Come to an End. Massive air traffic equipment outage in U.S. and Europe. And, you know, really what's happening is they're getting ready to shut this country down, man. All right. And I ain't gonna make this too long. I just want to land back off, you know, do a little land back off of this. And I only got a few precepts, but definitely go watch this brother's video. You see his channel right there, Raising the Elect 144. I subscribe to the brother. You know, very edifying videos that the brother do. And, you know, when he did this video, I was like, okay, all praises. Because I seen this, man, where I got people on my social media, you know, that was sitting on a plane for like 8 hours. You know, some people 12 hours, they were sitting on a plane, just stuck. They couldn't get off the plane or nothing. They were pretty much held hostage on these planes because they had to cut because the systems were down. And you've been hearing about, you know, Klaus Schwab and all these major player heads talking about a cyber attack is coming. So this is just a prelude to us to come, where it's going to be a real cyber attack where all these systems are going to shut down and it's going to be complete Mad Max out here. You're not going to be able to live life as you've been using it, going about your free will, you know, as you please, wherever you want to go, you can go. No, that's going to come to an end. OK, and basically what America is becoming is one big prison. OK. That's why I always watch a lot of them videos about, you know, the prison systems and stuff, One, to motivate me to stay the hell up out of there, but two, because that's what America's going to be as a whole. You're not going to be able to just up and go and leave as you please here in America for much longer. This place is going to get shut down. And I did a video a couple of days ago about how they actually are trying to instigate martial law. Okay, in martial law, you have no rights. You can't just go as you please. Everybody's going to be, under, a police state and strict government. So these are just tests that they run. Esau may run these tests to see how people react, and people was in them lines, calm and collect. You had people like it was a guy that I got on social media. He's like a videographer. He shoots like these music videos and shit. But he was on there with his newborn baby and his wife, and they were stuck on the plane. And he was trying to offer them money and everything he could to get off that plane because he not doing so bad on this side. But even that couldn't, relieve him of having to go through that. Salakia. So basically, as time goes on, more and more of your liberties are being constricted, okay, or restricted and taken away. And it's going to get to the point where this place is going to be completely locked down. All right. So let's grab a few precepts. All right. Real quick in the spirit. Don't make this too long. But we know what I first immediately thought of. It says, second. Salakia, man. I feel like I just had that damn seltzer water. So that's why that's happening. So forgive me for that. But Second Ezra chapter 15, verse 14, it says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. Woe means destruction and misery is coming. Okay, great destruction and misery is coming. But look to who is said to who? It said to the world and them that dwell therein. You people that are in this world and of this world, you all about this world. All you know is this world, and your mind isn't on the world to come. Guess what? Destruction and woe is coming unto you. All hell is about to break loose on you. Okay. It says, for the sword in their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their action shall stand in their power. And this is the time we're coming into where people are going to be just lashing out on each other. Scripture says, because iniquity has abounded, the love of many hath waxed cold. People going to be just, heartless out here, stumbling over each other and stuff. And as you've seen in those videos, people were still sitting in them lines, and people were still sitting on them planes just waiting, because why? This system is still in place. But what happens when people don't give a damn about going to jail or getting arrested or that stuff anymore? It's going to be Mad Max out here, complete lawlessness. You ain't going to be able to tell nobody nothing. If a motherfucker want to leave a situation, they going to end up leaving. And especially if they have the power to do so. Like say they big and, or if they have a, let's say a weapon, you ain't gonna be able to tell them what they can and can't do. And that's the time we're coming into. And these Americans are heavily armed. Not saying that they was armed on the plane, obviously, but, in a different situation, it's going to be chaos. Okay. It says a man shall have, here's the point. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. So you might desire to leave a particular town or city, okay, and go to a different city. You're not going to be able to, okay? So that's what happened with that whole plane situation with the the cyber attack. People were sitting on them planes for almost 10 hours, if not 10 hours, man. So wherever you was planning on going, a lot of people they have to travel for their jobs in these planes. So if you had to be somewhere at a particular time for your job, and you had to fly out there, the trip would have been a whole waste because you had got caught up in that, in that traffic flow, And that go to show you what's coming, man. Hey, pretty soon it ain't gonna be no more, flying back and forth here and there and going everywhere, man. The Lord gonna shut all that down. Okay. So it says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of lack of bread and for great tribulation. And that's what's going to happen, too, because as it gets worse here, these Edomites, these Republicans, these Babylonians, they're going to start lashing out. They're going to start acting a fool, okay? And they're going to start taking it out on a lot of you jakes, too, man. Let me grab this real quick too. 1 second. Is that 16? Bear with me 1 second. I think I'm on my probably ain't right book. Let's see. Let me see. Stand still. Because like I said, all they waiting for is a black swan event, some cyber attack to happen, to knock the lights out, and that's it. Okay, that's it. That's all it's gonna take, man. It says, 2nd Ezra chapter 6, verse 22, it says, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unstoned, the full storehouse shall suddenly be found empty. And every time you go to the airport, it's packed, it's full. Well, imagine they come to the day where you can't even go to the airport. The airport is closed, it's empty. I remember during the pandemic, they had shut the airports down, for a period. And it was like a ghost town out there. Okay? It says, and the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. At that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountain shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. Meaning, when this system does go down, the lights gonna go out. There's gonna be no more electricity, which a lot of times these water systems are ran on electricity, and that's gonna shut off too. So this place is going to come to a complete halt, a standstill. No more running water, no more electricity. They say it's basically like getting thrown back into the Stone Age, and that's what's going to happen here in America, man. Okay? So people that's caught up in their jobs and their careers and moving back and forth and doing this and going there, listen, that's not going to matter when all hell break loose. When all hell break loose out here, bro, and that's another thing, too. That reminds me of that movie Cell. That movie Cell, when he was in the airport, and what happened, there was a frequency that came through the phones, and people started spazzing out, throwing their heads into the wall and stuff. So you caught up in your own little world, going about where doing what you want to do. The Lord can shut all that down, and before you know it, you stuck. You can't go nowhere. And now you might be in a whole city you don't know nobody in. You never been to. It was a layover, and now you stuck there. And all hell done broke loose. The lights done cut out. All hell, That's why we say, hey, sit your ass down somewhere, man. Okay? Any day now, all hell could break loose, man. Any day now. All right? So it says, whosoever remaineth from all these that I have told thee, shall escape and see my salvation in the end of your world. And that's what we coming into, the time we're about to see the end of this world as we know it, man. All right? This world is changing drastically. And it's only going to get, much, much worse as time goes on. All right. Pretty soon, you're not going to be able to just do what you want to do as you've been doing here in America, man. Okay. You're not going to have the freedom to be able to hop on a plane and go across the country. That's going to get shut. It says 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 31. It says, and they that use this world as not abusing it, for the fashion of this world passeth away. So this world as we know it, the way you've been living this life, going about your day, doing what you want to do, all that stuff is about to pass away, man. It's going to be done away with. Okay? This is why we have put our given our lives, which they already belong to BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI. But we've given our lives over to BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI for what? So that he can deliver us, so that he can make things right for us. Okay? It says, and those, it's like in NLT, those who use the things of the world should not become attached to them. And that's the problem. People get attached to these things. They expect these things to always be there and be available and for them to be able to utilize it. But guess what? It's going to come a day you're not going to be able to utilize these things. You're not going to be able to hop on a bus where, they got psyops going on with little white girls getting stabbed. You're not going to be able to hop on or I'm in a train. You're not going to be able to hop on a bus, a city bus. You're not going to be able to hop on, a plane. You're not going to be able to drive. You're not going to be able to drive these cars soon. Pretty soon here, they're going to shut down. You even been able to drive your own vehicle, And all it takes is martial law. This guy Obama, when he was in office, he signed some executive orders that basically when the time of martial law comes, they own everything that you have. They have power over everything, down to the food in your house. Okay, they can come in and take that. How much more your vehicle, So it says, for this world as we know it will soon pass away. So this world as we know it, okay, the hustle and bustle, the American way, it's about to pass away. And rightfully so. We can't wait for it. the water Yahweh Shem Yahushai, call Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai for allowing us to see through this darkness, man, to understand what's going on, to know, you know, exactly what's happening in this world, and to you know, be in the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, in hopes to be delivered, man. All right, but that's the point. I don't make it too long. I pray this is edifying to the elect. Shalom, Kwame Sharala, Abad, Babal.